Okay, and welcome to the finals of the 1v1 tournament. We have Bregan123 versus RebornGaignun. This was the final matchup that nobody waited for and everyone thought had a good chance of happening. We had Bregan, of course, coming out of the easy bracket side and Reborn beating actual players to get here. Bregan, of course, known for choking at the last minute, and Reborn for being the king of trolls and being super humble all the time, like totally. So going into this match, I think it will be interesting. These players know each other probably better than any two players in Phantom Dust. So I'm assuming that they put so much thought into their arsenals that they are actually going backwards with their logic, trying to play things that the other one can't possibly predict, which might completely backfire. So we'll see if the Sultan of Rockshot and beat the Troll King, or if that thing that we all expect is going to happen happens. So without further ado, let's go highway to the danger zone, because I believe Palace was banned. Bregan, of course, having already lost Palace to Zexus, his record no longer being perfect, was too afraid to play Palace again.
They're gonna listen.
Okay, so we can see them chatting in the lobby. I'm sure a lot of shit-talking went on. I can't hear it, but we can imagine it. It's probably not very creative. Probably just little comments here or there. Fun fact, after this interview, I will have both the winner and loser, so we can do some mini interviews to see exactly what happened. So I'm assuming we're looking at Bregan's video right now. We do see that he's starting with the Faith Nature. Quite a bit of a race going on.
I hope so.
And a few environmentals. We'll see what those are. Of course, him being a jumper, probably expecting him to hang some stuff
Roll a bluff check.
on highway against a cartwheeler. Bregan off to a very good start. He's got 4 Aura, Ice Sword, Glacial, Flash Hole. Reborn, screen I can barely see, has defense in either Eraser or red. Let me see if I can get a better look. Enhance. 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 Yes, looks like a red. So he's got 2 shields and a red. He's also off to a good aura start. And we do see the Enviro out of Bregan. There's a Forest Sanctuary. Looks like he's trying to find a hanging spot. Reborn, though, bringing the fight to him. Bregan goes for an Ice Sword. He doesn't. He's immediately just trying to go and find a place to hang that Forest Sanctuary. Reborn chasing him. Just running right at him.
I'm not that concerned.
Bregan just running away. Typical. There's a hanging spot right here. Yep. And he goes for the Glacial. But unfortunately it hits the railing anyway, so he's able to hang off the Forest Sanctuary. We'll see if Reborn has anything that can deal with that. But assumingly that's going to kind of limit a lot of arsenal possibilities. We see Bregan still has more purple and yellow back at his spawn. Yeah, that amulet's going to protect him. We do see the Violent Change, so if Reborn does have to burn through quite a bit and go digging, he's going to be in a tough spot against the Violent Change. Reborn just sort of waiting him out. Looks like he might have some skills to deal with, or he's trying to get some erase going on. Both of them just feeling each other out.
All right.
Again, oh, yeah, he's got the Angel's Wing, so he's ready. Of course, Angel's Wing notoriously is the most unreliable skill in all of Phantom Dust.
You know my
the Bregan of skills, if you will. I mean, the only 2 things that are certain in Phantom Dust is math going 0-3 and Angel's Wing not working. These are just the truest things I know. So Reborn is just sort of chilling out.
Just have a 3-cost Ice Sword.
Not really ready to go. Angel's Wing does actually work. Burns through. He takes the Ice Sword. Counters with looks like Flame Sword to the back. Bregan runs off and is going back towards his spawn. Oh, a little bit of buffering error there. Sorry. Okay, Bregan does come back with Diabolical Trick. Looks like he's not going to try much of an attack, and he just sort of wants to burn through. Reborn, though, is being very cautious. I don't think Bregan's going to get the opening to just start popping right away. We'll see if what he wants to get rid of. Reborn is kind of digging a little bit. Looks like he's also got a purple. He's got a yellow going on. We do still see the Violent Change. He gets rid of the Glacial Wall, which is interesting.
Slow rolling a judgment.
I probably would have got rid of the Flash Hole and tried to freeze some of the lesser attacks to use Diabolical Trick. But, you know, I'm not in the tournament anymore, so what do I know? I could be dead wrong. Another violent change. Looks like he uses it maybe a little early. I don't know if he got all the capsules on that one. Math is not my strong suit. And, you know, math is not a strong suit all to himself either. So we see Bregan waiting back into the spawn. Reborn comes up with the reincarnation, does hit him during the pop. But unfortunately, I mean, still a lot of health and still a lot of time. This one might be a little bit of a drawn-out match unless they can get something else started. Reborn doing a good job holding on to 11. I mean, he actually has the same amount of capsules despite the violent changes. And we know that Bregan doesn't have any recalls or relearns or anything because he's just Faith Nature. So he's really got to get some popping done. He does get the reincarnation. Wasn't paying total attention. It does look like that catches the re-in, but he looks like he relearned it. Reborn, of course, still just waiting. Would have been cool to have that glacial wall, I bet, so he could stop the reincarnation, go for the pop, but he is still getting a few capsules here or there. Looks like he's going to go and check what his other attack is. Reborn, of course, has all the health, none of the capsules. Probably pretty limited in what he can play outside that reincarnation, although he is still picking stuff up. Bregan eats a re-in there. They go to trade, but good cartwheel, good flash. He does take Bregan's reincarnation. Bregan probably could have been a little bit more patient there. Kind of, you know, a little bit of a mistake, I would say, to lose your re-in. That being said, I mean, nobody's really in too much trouble here. You're going to have a lot of time left if nobody can really attack. That D-Trick is going to be Bregan's win condition, so to speak, but he's also getting low on capsules. It looks like Reborn's holding onto a purple himself. Be interesting to see if he reverses this with a race. That would be kind of a fun thing. We just see the other Forest Sanctuary. That's going to be no good. Doesn't look like Bregan had too many other options in this deck.
I mean, you can pop capsules
outside of just the couple violent changes. Reborn, of course, not really wanting... Oh, there we do. We do see violent change out of Reborn before Bregan can pick up the reincarnation. So he's down to 3, and it looks like a purple in Reborn's hand. I think we might see the complete popping reversal here as soon as those spawn. Yep. And that'll leave Bregan at 0 and less health, and he will slowly die. Or quickly die, I don't know. We'll see how he takes this. He doesn't have any attacks. 2 capsules left, but of course with Reborn's health and attacks, and even if he sits there and pops them, he's just going to die. Maybe he'll do it for pride. I got to respect that, actually. Good block of the re-in. He pops it. Oh, but... Oh, okay, Reborn did take 1 damage. Good. Good. You got that 1 damage in. You can really rest your hat on that. That's a tough game 1, especially because it looks like it was a well-thought-out arsenal. But it looks like Reborn was just 1 step ahead and a little bit more patient in playing his violent changes. So we see the next match is City. I think Reborn is the one who banned Panorama. So Palace banned by Bregan, Pano banned by Reborn. If I was Bregan, I mean, I know you did take a loss on Palace, and you kind of want to preserve your record. At the same time, you know it is such a powerful map for you. I don't know if I would have wanted to start on Highway. That being said, it looks like he clearly had an idea for it. It just didn't quite go in the execution. We do see Bregan starting off with the kind of low spawn. He's got a grab press. We might be looking at a memory battle type deck. Reborn probably has Tiger Strength of Trance. Looks like he's got... yeah, still can't quite tell if those are an attack and a purple or 2 purples. So we see another optimization. It looks like he's going to go for a quick hang on that one. Again, since it's on City, it's going to be pretty tough to get it. Oh! Reborn uses his Erase, takes the Enviro, and does... well, actually, he didn't take any damage from that. Probably could have taken 1 or 2 from the fall, but it looks like he gets away with the sign breaking underneath him. Reborn now used a Heat. holding onto an environmental of his own. We'll see if he tries to play it, and he does. It's a Lunar Force. Bregan holding onto multiple gravity presses now. Might be trying to get a combo going if he can get a knockdown. All 3 grav presses. We'll see if he tries to spam them. Not quite enough aura to spam multiple. That Psycho Shell is going to be pretty effective, though. Here's the first one. Dodged. Looks like he might be going for the Lunar Force for aura. Good lightning sword, but Bregan really good with the timing. Takes 2 quick Psycho Shells, blocks them both. Does pick the Lunar Force, takes the aura. Reborn those, used another heat in the meantime, already up to +2. Bregan does have a mobilize. It looks like he's going to try at some point to get a mobilize mine gravity press combo going. Not quite sure he's got enough aura for that just yet. Reborn just breaking all the trash, making sure that there's nothing to hide behind, really taking the benefit of his top spawn. Bregan kind of in a tougher spot right now, just because that Rian can come from a bunch of weird angles. Does have 2 solid defenses in both his Psycho Shells, but looks like he's digging for something in particular. Maybe a mine after triggering the mobilize. Reborn is pretty far in his arsenal himself. Looks like he's just got his attacks and he's kind of biding his time. We see the Rian. Nothing comboing with it, just launching a few Rians. I don't think that'll work against Bregan. I mean, I don't give him a lot of credit, but he's still fairly solid. He's going to block that. Reborn does trance up. Now we see what his plan is. He's going to try to snap the Psycho Shell. Bregan does a good job keeping the space, getting out of there. Shot at the last remaining piece of trash right there. Reborn now going on the offensive, I think trying to snap that shield. He does. Bregan not able to get away from it. Snaps the shield. Bregan jumps down. Get back to his spawn. Looks like he's trying to get everything ready for a combo. But he eats a big reincarnation. I think Reborn's just going to kind of keep the trance going. Oh! And unfortunately, in a weird turn of events, he eats the reincarnation in the middle of mobilizing. The mobilize goes through. But Bregan can't capitalize on the mobilize as he is knocked by the reincarnation. Looks like he kind of just gives up at the end there because his combo, which might have been a one-hit combo, is not going to work at that point. So it looks like he kind of leans into it. And now we're on to Refinery, which is, of course, Reborn's best map. Bregan in a tough spot. It looks like he had 2 sort of very particular arsenals, and they're not really working out the way he anticipated. Looks like he ran the exact same one. We see Blazing out of Reborn. He's off to a quick start with Blazing Bullet. Multiple attacks, a little aura screwed, but with Blazing Bullet, of course, 2 is still enough to go on the offensive. Yep, we see the Opti. That's going to make the Mobilize combo a little bit easier to get off. We'll see if he goes for a hang. Of course, the Opti is also really going to help Reborn with his 3 aura. Start spamming what I'm assuming is probably more than just Blazing Bullet. Bregan accidentally lands a little too close and breaks a hanging spot. But on this map, there are multiple. He finds another barrel. He is able to hang it. Of course, Bregan, very well known for being able to hang quite quickly. Well hung, if you will. We do see Blazing Bullets multiple out of the air, especially with the Opti. He's able to just rain them down. Bregan, of course, though, still relying on that Psycho Shell. It does get snapped. See, Ice Sword. And the Mobilize does go off, but unfortunately he's still hit with the Vacuum Slash. Really, I think he's just trying to use the Mobilize just a little too close to Reborn, who's able to capitalize on the long animation time. Bregan now is kind of in a tough spot. He tries to Mobilize again, but again he's hit right before it, which is going to mess up any particular timing he's going on with that. Eats another Blazing Bullet, and that'll be it. He will end it right there, not able to perform that combo, which I'm sure, had it gone off, would have been a great combo. But, you can't finish if you can't get it off. That's true. All right, so with that, I'm going to talk to Bregan first, and then I will talk to Reborn to see how they feel about that particular matchup. So Bregan, can you just give us a little insight into what you were trying to accomplish and what happened?
Well, I hadn't played a lot because after the loss to Xanxus, I stepped away from Phantom Dust, and I wanted to get this match in, and I thought I would try and make it fun and do some silly stuff, so I made the Mobilized deck, and then it didn't come out right at all the first time. That Return to Nature killing the Opti just absolutely murdered the deck, and then it dumped all the stuff I didn't need without giving me anything to help. And so I was
Right.
like, whatever, I'll try it again on Refinery. There's plenty of places I can do it on Refinery. But him having the ability to snap through a Psycho Shell so easily both games made it really rough. And then I had a Psychic Wall in in that same deck, but I just never seemed to have it at the right moment to deal with the high damage abilities he was throwing around. And so, yeah, he swept me. It was a really cheeky win out of him on Highway. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I was gonna ask
the double
you
violent change. I was just laughing.
What was your plan
hysterically.
on that one? Because it looks like you didn't have any Opti or anything to get capsules back. You were just planning on using the D trick to get a slight edge.
Yeah, usually I D-trick people and then I violent change, but he wasn't picking anything up, so I thought I would try and give him a shove with the violent change. It's the same Forest Sanctuary deck. I've used it to a lot of effect. I beat Esper with it. I beat Math with it. I've been using it for a long time. It's one of the decks that people have probably started to come to expect out of me, is that Forest Sanctuary deck. And
I mean, it looks like he was expecting it because he had the perfect counter right there
yeah,
in his deck.
that's the irony. Is I was debating between two arsenals, and if I'd run the aggro one, because he hit the arsenal he ran on City is actually the same build I use, just with like an extra lightning sword or two. And it does the 2 heats into trance and to lunar force, and you get +5 damage. And that was the arsenal I was debating using, was that or the Forest Sanctuary. And ironically, if I just used the other one, it probably would have gone a lot better
Right.
on Highway. But
And then momentum being so powerful, you never know.
it just really felt like a story, of counters being picked against each other, and just like, okay, which one do I think he's gonna play? And then I continued to pick incorrectly.
Okay, and thank you, Bregan. Sorry to be so
Steamrolled
rough
me.
on you. It is just so much fun. And with that, I think Reborn is also here. We'll get a quick word in with Reborn. You know how humble he is. He probably doesn't want to, brag about his win, but we'll try to force it out of him. So, Reborn, what were you thinking during that matchup?
Hello, numerous poor choices. Thanks for having me on your show.
Of course.
I just used the decks I used last time, which I made to make fun of people.
Gotcha.
No,
so
but
it's a
actually, the violent change is my Savage Sim arsenal, and I'm very proud that I out-Savage Simmed him.
were you just laughing to yourself as soon as he started popping?
We were
Did you get
both. If you listen to the audio, hopefully he'll post that too. We were both just like giggling, and to be fair, he almost completely ruined my arsenal. There was one skill he picked up, and that one skill he picked up was the only reason I was able to win. I think he could have eked out a cheeky popping win. Otherwise.
And of course, I mean, so it was just coincidental that his 2 quick pops didn't grab your violent changes, or how many did you have?
I had 2 changes and 2 relearns.
Yeah.
I had to use a relearn to get that Rian back, you saw.
Yeah, saw that.
Mhm.
Saw that.
But yeah, I didn't leave my base aggressively because I knew I needed the violent changes to have a chance. So I just
on
stood
City, on City, of course, it looks like you saw the one of the mobilizers. You knew you saw a grav press. I mean, did you put it together what he was trying to accomplish, or were you just trying to hit the trash and open up the map and just pick at him?
I mean, so there's a lot of options. So I hate City. I brought my Bregan deck because jumpers don't like Rian. That's about as far as I went for the planning on that. But
Right.
It works. Bregan made a really scary Rian deck. It's unfortunate actually. If he would have known 10 seconds sooner, I saw him overwrite the Psychic Wall with something in game 2.
Right.
And that I could have gotten a Willow and possibly comboed, yada yada, but
Yeah, but if you have a +4 ring and you don't need to, why not?
well, I just didn't. I don't know that he wouldn't have comboed off first if he was still at the Psychic Wall.
The point he's making is that he wouldn't have been able to break it unless he comboed with Willow Rian.
Yeah,
The
because
Psychic Wall.
it only does 8.
The Rian, yeah, it was doing 8 damage, so it could break the Psycho Shell, but it wouldn't have been able to break the wall.
Right.
But
It would have had to get to that point.
yeah, so that would have given him a lot longer to dig, but that's hindsight. Who'd have known that you'd have 8 damage Rians to contest with? Like, that doesn't come out every day.
And so Refinery, was that just a blazing deck or
That was my
typical
Esper
Faith
deck.
Nature? Okay.
That was
So
my.
I'm assuming Faith Nature, a little
It-
bit of blazing.
It's basically just Blazing Bullet, Ice Sword, the arsenal.
Gotcha. So how do you feel having taken the second one-on-one tournament?
I really wanted to see
poor
him
showing
do
in
it.
the first one.
I almost feel bad. I wanted him to do it. So I apologize here to you, Bregan. I want you to jank me in the future.
And I'm gonna ask
I would have
this.
been. I mean, I'm still, maybe a little salty on losing, but I think I would have been perfectly fine losing if I just pulled off the combo once.
Right.
I just
Was that
wanted
an
to, I just
instant kill
wanted to
combo
do
if it goes
once.
right?
It's 16 damage, but I have a couple other things in there that I could still do it with. I got the 3 mobilizes and 3 gravity presses, and then there's also Excalibur, Photon Burst, and a Sensor Mine. So there's a couple of different ones.
Ideally, how does that work? Yeah. Ideally, what's the ideal way that combo gets off?
Well, on most of those maps, I mobilize and then double gravity press would be the ideal, and that does 16. And then after that, I just need to deal 4 damage, and I can deal that. The Sensor Mine might knock you off, or I can get him. If I use another mobilize, I have the Photon Burst or the Excalibur, that could also do it. I mean, it's by no means a perfect arsenal. It's not even an ideal arsenal.
I built it before. It's fun. I like it.
It's a fun idea.
I didn't expect to win because I knew I was out of practice, and so I tried to make something fun. So even if it hadn't killed him and I didn't get a win with the arsenal, just the mobilize into double gravity press would have been worth it.
For practice, I want to note that he played against Guard a number of times to try to practice it because no one was around. I know Guard might have gotten hit. I do want you to know, without the mine, you couldn't hit the gravity press.
Right.
Mobilize does not have a long enough pause, but who'd have known? Because if Guard took it, it's hard to tell.
My one last question, I think, will be Reborn. What was who did you think was the hardest one-on-one match you had to get through to get to the finals?
Well, I mean, like, me and Zexus had, like, some kind of rocky duel. And I came out with some lost teeth. Whatever that guy's name is. I told them to switch names, and they haven't done it yet.
So we should all just do that. You heard it here first, people. Just do whatever Reborn says. Apparently, is the champion now.
I don't know
everything.
It's
to tell us what to do.
Like,
all right.
When it comes to before you go, when it comes to credit, note that in these last 2 matches, I pulled a lot from things that other people developed to make counterplay. Like, this is an amalgamation of the meta that was developed by a lot of people. So it's really a testament to the game coming really far this year in general.
All right, I think that's a good sentiment, and actually a humble sentiment. So since those are so few and far between, we should probably end it there. But thank you, everyone, who participated. It was a great tournament overall, and I hope and expect to see you all at the next tournament.
Y'all better sign up for the next one. It's going to be fun.